Imagine you are sitting alone in your favorite chair, the sun casting a warm glow through the window. The house is quiet, and for the first time in a long time, you truly listen to the ticking clock, to the gentle rustle of leaves outside. In this stillness, a thought arises. Am I taking care of myself the way I should? As we age, life slows down, and we often find ourselves reflecting on the past. Have you ever wondered, what should I do to stay happy in my later years? How can I find peace within myself when everything around me is changing? These questions linger in the hearts of many, yet answers often seem out of reach. Think about this. A person spends decades caring for others, children, family, friends, only to reach old age and realize they have forgotten to care for themselves. They feel lost, unsure of how to nurture their own well-being. It's a common reality, yet one that can be changed with the right mindset. Buddhism teaches us that aging is not something to fear but to embrace. It is a time to turn inward, to cultivate wisdom, and to find true peace. But how do we do that? How can we transform old age into a period of joy and fulfillment rather than loneliness and regret? Welcome to Wisdom Woven, a space where ancient wisdom meets modern life. In this video, we will explore powerful Buddhist principles that can help you take care of yourself in your old age, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. These insights will not only change the way you view aging, but also help you create a life filled with contentment and purpose. Before we dive in, we need your support. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribed. If you find value in these teachings, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps spread wisdom to those who need it. And don't forget, drop your thoughts in the comments. We would love to hear from you. Self-care in old age is not just about physical health. It is about finding inner peace, letting go of burdens, and embracing the present moment. As we move forward, we will uncover simple yet profound ways to nurture ourselves in every aspect of life. Stay with us, because what comes next might change the way you see aging forever. In our journey through life, one of the most profound truths that we must come to terms with is the impermanence of all things. This is a concept found deeply in Buddhism, and yet, it is something many of us struggle to accept. Life is constantly changing. The seasons shift, our bodies grow older, and even our thoughts and emotions ebb and flow with time. But how often do we truly reflect on the fact that everything, our relationships, our material possessions, even ourselves, is temporary? Imagine looking at a flower in full bloom. Its petals are vibrant, reaching toward the sky, full of life. Now, imagine that same flower a few days later, its petals starting to wilt, its beauty fading. What happened to that lively flower? Was it not beautiful while it was in bloom? Of course, it was. And yet, it could not remain in that perfect state forever. This, too, is how our lives unfold. The most joyful moments, the moments that bring us peace and happiness, will eventually pass. And that is okay. It is the nature of existence. Buddha, the great teacher, often spoke of impermanence. He said that everything is in a constant state of flux, nothing is permanent. From the day we are born, change is inevitable. We grow, we learn, we age, we experience loss, and we experience gain. Yet, so often, we fight this truth. We wish to hold on to moments, to freeze time, to keep our lives from shifting. But in doing so, we only create suffering for ourselves. When we hold on too tightly to people, to possessions, or to the idea of permanence, we start to suffer. We fear losing what we love, and this fear weighs heavily on our hearts. But what if we could learn to embrace change instead of resisting it? What if we could let go of the need to control everything, and instead, allow ourselves to flow with the natural rhythms of life? The key to finding peace in old age is accepting impermanence, not as something to fear, but as something to embrace. In fact, when we accept impermanence, we can begin to live more fully. We stop clinging to the past, to what we cannot change, and we start to focus on the present moment. We find beauty in the fleeting nature of life, in the simple joys that each moment brings. Think about the times when you were happiest, those times when you were completely immersed in the present. Perhaps it was a walk in the park, the laughter of a loved one, or the feeling of the sun on your skin. In those moments, you were not worried about the future or the past. You were simply there. And that is the gift of impermanence. It reminds us that life is precious because it is fleeting. When we accept that life is temporary, we become less attached to the idea of permanence. We begin to cherish the present moment, knowing that it will never come again. We learn to appreciate the simple things, a cup of tea, the sound of rain, the warmth of a hug. These small moments become our treasures because we know they will not last forever. As we age, the impermanence of life becomes even more apparent. Our bodies change, our energy wanes, and the things we once took for granted begin to fade. But this does not mean that we have lost anything. In fact, we gain wisdom. We gain an understanding of life's true nature. And with that understanding comes a deeper peace. There is a saying in Buddhism, when you let go of what you are, you become what you might be. This is the essence of embracing impermanence. It is about letting go of the need to control every aspect of life and allowing ourselves to evolve with the flow of time. By accepting that everything is temporary, we free ourselves from the fear of loss, and we begin to live with an open heart. In old age, many people fear the changes in their bodies and minds. They may struggle with the loss of physical strength, the fading of memories, or the passing of loved ones. But these changes are not something to be feared. They are part of the natural cycle of life. When we understand impermanence, we can accept these changes as a part of our journey. We can find peace in the knowing that each stage of life has its own beauty and value. The Buddhists speak of the three marks of existence: impermanence, suffering, and non-self. Understanding impermanence is the first step in understanding these teachings. When we realize that nothing lasts forever, we also begin to understand that our attachments to people, things, and even our own identities are fleeting. We are not our bodies, our possessions, or our past. We are simply beings in constant flux, experiencing life as it unfolds. In this way, impermanence is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It frees us from the chains of attachment and allows us to live more fully in the present. It teaches us that we do not need to cling to the past, nor do we need to worry about the future. All we have is the now. And when we embrace the now, we find peace. So, as you reflect on your own life, ask yourself, how have I been holding on to things that are fleeting? How can I let go and accept the impermanence of life? By doing so, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You allow yourself to be present, to enjoy each moment for what it is, without fear of it disappearing. The truth of impermanence is not something that should weigh us down. Rather, it should lift us up. It is a reminder that life is precious because it is temporary. Every moment is an opportunity to experience something beautiful, to learn, to grow, and to love. As we grow older, we can use this wisdom to find peace in the natural changes that come with age. We do not need to fight the passage of time. Instead, we can flow with it, appreciating each phase of life as it comes. And in the end, when we look back on our lives, we will see that the moments we treasured the most were the ones we allowed to unfold naturally. The fleeting moments of beauty, the small gestures of kindness, the moments of quiet reflection, these are the things that make life truly meaningful. So, let go of the need to hold on, and embrace the impermanence of life with an open heart. You will find that, in doing so, you will experience true peace. The art of letting go, releasing attachments. As we move deeper into life, there is one truth that is impossible to escape: everything changes. The people we love grow older, our bodies change, and even the world around us is never the same. And yet, despite this reality, many of us hold on tightly to things that no longer serve us: attachments to old habits, regrets from the past, and worries about the future. But here's the truth that we must learn: attachment is the root of suffering. It is only when we release these attachments that we can find true peace. You may be thinking, but how can I let go of everything? I have built my life around these things. Let's take a moment to reflect on that. In our younger years, we build a life that gives us a sense of security. We attach ourselves to careers, relationships, possessions, and even our identity. We think these things define who we are, but in reality, they are all temporary. The house you live in, the job you do, the people around you, nothing is permanent. And when we cling too tightly to these things, we create unnecessary pain for ourselves. Imagine for a moment a tree. It stands tall and strong through the seasons. During the fall, its leaves change color and fall to the ground. If the tree were to hold on to those leaves, it would be weighed down, unable to grow. But because it lets go, it is free to bloom again in the spring. We too must learn the art of letting go, of shedding the unnecessary weight that keeps us rooted in the past and prevents us from living fully in the present. Letting go is not about abandoning everything we care about. It is about finding the balance between enjoying the things we love and not being controlled by them. It's about understanding that we don't own anything, not the people we love, not the possessions we gather, not even our own bodies. Everything is impermanent, and when we can accept that, we free ourselves from the constant fear of loss. In Buddhism, the concept of attachment is called tanha, which means craving or desire. It is the desire to possess, to control, to hold on to what is fleeting. This craving creates a cycle of suffering, where we are never truly content, because we are always chasing something we can never fully possess. But when we learn to let go, we break free from this cycle. We start to experience life as it is, beautiful, fleeting, and full of moments that we can appreciate without clinging to them. Now, letting go does not mean we stop caring about the people in our lives. Far from it. In fact, when we stop clinging to them, we are able to love them more deeply. We are no longer living with the fear of losing them. We can simply appreciate them for who they are, not as objects that fulfill our desires, but as fellow travelers on this journey of life. This kind of love is not possessive. It is not about trying to control or change others. It is about allowing them the freedom to be themselves while still sharing moments of joy, love, and connection. Similarly, letting go of material possessions does not mean we stop enjoying life's comforts. We can still appreciate the things that bring us joy, a beautiful home, a favorite book, a treasured photograph. But we must not become attached to them. When we let go of the need to own or control things, we are free to experience the world without the fear of losing what we hold dear. We understand that we are not defined by our possessions, but by our ability to enjoy them without becoming attached to them. As we grow older, the process of letting go becomes even more important. Our bodies may not be as strong as they once were, and we may face limitations we never anticipated. The future may feel uncertain, and we may find ourselves mourning the passage of time. But in those moments of sorrow, there is also an opportunity for growth. The more we are able to release the attachment to our youth, our health, and even the people we once relied on, the more we open ourselves up to the beauty of the present moment. One of the greatest lessons of aging is learning to accept what is, without resistance. It is easy to wish for things to be different, to long for the days when life felt simpler, when we were stronger, healthier, and younger. But that only leads to dissatisfaction. We cannot change the past, and we cannot control the future. All we have is the present moment, and when we embrace it fully, without clinging to what was or what might be, we find peace. Buddhism teaches us that the key to overcoming suffering is not to fight against it, but to accept it with compassion and understanding. In our old age, this lesson becomes even more vital. We may face physical decline, loss of loved ones, or even the awareness of our own mortality. But instead of clinging to the idea of a perfect, unchanging life, we can learn to embrace the impermanence of it all. We can find peace in knowing that everything has its time, and that we too are a part of this beautiful, ever-changing cycle of life. As we let go of attachment, we also make room for something greater, wisdom. The more we release the need to control, the more we can see life clearly. We begin to understand that every experience, no matter how painful or joyful, is an opportunity for growth. Letting go opens us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. We begin to appreciate the simple, fleeting moments of life, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the sound of laughter, the peace of a quiet evening. These are the moments that bring us true happiness. So, how do we begin the process of letting go? It starts with awareness. We must first recognize the things we are attached to, the beliefs, the people, the possessions, the ideas, and ask ourselves, what would happen if I let go of this? Sometimes, the answer will come easily, and other times, it may be more difficult. But each time we practice letting go, we become more at peace with ourselves and the world around us. It is not an overnight process, but with patience and practice, it becomes easier. In the end, letting go is not about giving up on life. It is about freeing ourselves from the burden of attachment so that we can experience life fully. It is about living with an open heart and mind, knowing that every moment is a gift, and that nothing is permanent. When we embrace the art of letting go, we are no longer weighed down by the past or the future. We can simply be, here and now, in the present moment, and in that moment, we find freedom. Mindfulness, the key to inner peace. As we grow older, life often feels like it's moving slower, yet sometimes it seems overwhelming. The weight of memories, the tasks of everyday life, and the challenges of aging can all blur our sense of peace. But there is one simple tool that can help us find balance, focus, and a sense of calm, mindfulness. Imagine, for a moment, you are sitting in a room, looking out the window. The sun is setting, casting its soft golden light over everything it touches. You notice how the light dances on the leaves of the tree outside, how the shadows stretch and change as the day fades into night. But there's something more than just the scene before you. In this moment, you begin to feel a deep sense of awareness. You notice the sensation of the chair beneath you, the quiet hum of the world outside, and the way your breath flows in and out. You are simply present. This is mindfulness. It's the act of being fully aware of what's happening in the moment. without judgment, without distraction. It's the ability to embrace the present, letting go of worries about the past or anxieties about the future. It's about finding peace in the now. As we age, we tend to spend much of our time either dwelling on the past, reliving moments of joy, regret, or missed opportunities, or worrying about the future, fearing what might come or anticipating changes. But the key to inner peace, especially in our later years, is to break free from this cycle. Mindfulness, according to Buddhist teachings, is the practice of paying full attention to our thoughts, actions, and surroundings. It's not just about sitting in meditation, it's about being conscious and aware in everything we do. Whether you are drinking a cup of tea, walking in nature, or talking to a loved one, mindfulness invites you to be fully present in that moment. But how does mindfulness truly help us as we age? When we practice mindfulness, we stop reacting automatically to life's challenges. Instead of being swept away by frustration, pain, or fear, we begin to observe these emotions without becoming consumed by them. For example, if you are feeling a tinge of discomfort or sadness, mindfulness allows you to simply notice that feeling, acknowledge it, and then let it pass without letting it control you. This practice of mindful observation helps us accept our experiences, whatever they may be, with a sense of grace. Aging brings change, and with it, many things that can be difficult: health issues, loss of loved ones, a feeling of isolation. But mindfulness teaches us not to resist these experiences. Instead, it encourages us to welcome them with compassion and understanding, knowing that they are a part of life's natural flow. One of the most profound ways mindfulness helps is by enabling us to see things as they truly are, not as we imagine them to be. How often do we misinterpret situations based on fear or old habits? How many times have we let our thoughts spiral, creating unnecessary stress or anxiety? Through mindfulness, we can step back from our thoughts and see them with clarity. We stop believing everything our mind tells us. Instead, we begin to understand that our thoughts are just that, thoughts. They come and go, and they do not define us. This realization can be incredibly liberating. It allows us to cultivate a sense of peace and stillness in the midst of life's chaos. In the context of aging, it allows us to let go of the pressures we may have placed on ourselves. We no longer feel the need to prove anything to others, nor do we chase after things that no longer serve us. Instead, we begin to appreciate what we have right now: our health, our family, our experiences, and we allow ourselves to be grateful for these moments. But mindfulness isn't just about quiet moments of reflection. It's about bringing that awareness into every aspect of life. When you go for a walk, can you feel the earth beneath your feet? Can you hear the sound of your breath as you move? When you sit down to eat, are you savoring each bite? Or are you rushing through the meal without truly tasting it? These are all opportunities to practice mindfulness in your daily life. When we live mindfully, we become more connected to ourselves and to the world around us. We start to notice the beauty in the smallest things: the color of the sky, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the laughter of children in the distance. These moments, which we may have once overlooked, are now sources of joy and contentment. Mindfulness also helps us develop a greater sense of compassion, not only for others but for ourselves. As we age, it's easy to be hard on ourselves, to feel like we've missed opportunities or made mistakes. But mindfulness teaches us to treat ourselves with kindness. We learn to forgive ourselves for the past and to focus on the present. We acknowledge our limitations without judgment, and we learn to care for ourselves in a more loving and accepting way. Buddhism teaches us that suffering comes from attachment and desire. We cling to things, whether it's our youth, our health, or the people we love, because we fear losing them. But when we practice mindfulness, we begin to understand that nothing in life is permanent. Everything is in a constant state of change. And this realization, rather than causing fear, brings a sense of peace. We no longer need to hold on so tightly. Instead, we can let things be as they are, accepting the ebb and flow of life with grace. As we age, mindfulness also helps us appreciate the time we have left. It encourages us to focus on what truly matters, to savor the moments we often take for granted. Instead of worrying about how much time we have, mindfulness invites us to experience each moment to the fullest, knowing that every breath is a gift. Through mindfulness, we can also foster a deeper connection with others. As we age, our relationships may change, and we may experience moments of loneliness. But mindfulness teaches us how to be fully present with the people around us. It encourages us to listen deeply, to speak with intention, and to create meaningful connections. In the end, mindfulness is the practice of being awake to life as it unfolds. It's about embracing each moment as it comes, with open eyes and a compassionate heart. It's about finding peace, not in the absence of challenges, but in the ability to face them with calm and clarity. As you continue on your journey through old age, remember this: mindfulness is always available to you. You can practice it in any moment, no matter where you are or what you are doing. With each mindful breath, you open the door to greater peace, greater joy, and greater freedom. And as you walk through that door, you'll find that the world becomes a little bit brighter, a little bit kinder, and a little bit more beautiful, just as you are. The power of compassion, caring for yourself with kindness. In the journey of life, especially as we grow older, we can often feel the weight of the years, both physically and emotionally. Our bodies begin to slow down, and our minds sometimes wander into places of worry and regret. But in all these moments, there is one powerful tool we often forget to use: compassion. Not just for others, but for ourselves. Imagine for a moment that you are a gardener, tending to a delicate plant. You water it, give it sunlight, and care for it gently, knowing it needs patience and tenderness. You wouldn't demand the plant to grow faster or harder than it can. Instead, you nurture it with love and care, understanding its needs and its pace. Now, think of yourself as that plant. You are also delicate and in need of kindness and patience. Why then do we often forget to treat ourselves with the same gentleness? The teachings of Buddhism emphasize compassion as a cornerstone of a peaceful life. But this compassion isn't just for others. It's easy to give love and understanding to those around us. We care for our friends, family, and loved ones. Yet, when it comes to ourselves, we often forget to show the same level of kindness. We are hard on ourselves, expecting too much, criticizing ourselves for our weaknesses or the things we can't do anymore. This, my dear friends, is not the path to true peace. Compassion begins with understanding. To be kind to yourself, you must first understand that it is okay to feel tired, to feel pain, and to experience the limitations that come with aging. Aging is not a flaw. It is a natural process of life, a part of the cycle. So, instead of fighting it, why not embrace it? Recognize that it's okay to not be what you once were, and that you are still worthy of love and care, no matter your age or your circumstances. In Buddhism, there is a concept called metta, which is loving kindness. It's a form of compassion where you not only wish for others to be happy, but also wish happiness and peace for yourself. It's about looking at yourself with the same loving eyes you look at those you care for. When you begin to practice metta, you'll notice a shift in how you treat yourself. Rather than self-criticism or self-judgment, you'll begin to cultivate a deep sense of acceptance and care for yourself. Imagine starting each day with the intention of being kind to yourself. Instead of waking up with thoughts of what you should do or what you haven't done, start with a simple thought: I am enough. I deserve kindness and peace today. This small shift in thinking will make a world of difference. And just like a gardener tends to their plant, you can tend to yourself, gently, patiently, and with love. Compassion doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or pretending that everything is perfect. It means acknowledging your imperfections with understanding, seeing them as part of your humanity. When you feel pain, whether physical, emotional, or mental, compassion is the act of sitting with that pain without judgment, without pushing it away, and without making it worse. It's about offering yourself the space to simply be. One of the biggest challenges we face in old age is the tendency to focus on what we can no longer do. We may look back on the past with nostalgia, remembering the energy, the mobility, and the independence we once had. But instead of lamenting what is gone, compassion asks us to look at what is still present. Yes, perhaps your body has changed. Maybe you no longer move as quickly or as freely. But do you not still have a beautiful heart? A wealth of experience, wisdom, and love to give? Those things are irreplaceable, and they deserve your compassion. It's easy to become frustrated with the limitations of aging. It's easy to feel isolated or even forgotten. But compassion reminds us that even in our limitations, there is beauty. In slowing down, we have the opportunity to appreciate the present moment in a way we couldn't before. When you take the time to care for yourself, when you treat yourself with kindness, it opens up space for gratitude. You begin to notice the small joys, the warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter, the peace in a quiet room. These simple pleasures become more meaningful when you approach them with a compassionate heart. Now, you may ask, how do I practice compassion for myself when I feel so lost or overwhelmed? It starts with small steps. Begin by recognizing your own needs. When you're tired, rest. When you're feeling anxious, take a few deep breaths. When your body aches, treat it gently. Listen to what your body is telling you. Don't push through the pain or the discomfort. Instead, acknowledge it, care for it, and be gentle. Sometimes, we forget that self-compassion also means forgiving ourselves. We hold on to past mistakes, regrets, or things we wish we had done differently. But as we age, we come to understand that forgiveness is freedom. Holding on to guilt or shame only weighs us down, making it harder to experience peace. To forgive yourself is to set yourself free from the burden of the past, allowing you to embrace the present with an open heart. Every day is an opportunity to practice compassion. When you make a mistake, be kind to yourself. When your body needs rest, honor that need. When you feel sad or lonely, acknowledge those feelings with love instead of judgment. You are human, and being human means being vulnerable. Compassion allows you to be vulnerable without fear, knowing that you are worthy of care, even in your imperfection. In the end, the greatest gift you can give yourself is love, the kind of love that doesn't expect anything in return. The kind of love that simply exists because you are. By practicing compassion, you will not only bring peace to your own heart, but you will also find that your relationships with others deepen. When you are kind to yourself, you create space for others to be kind to you. And in turn, you can extend that compassion to the people around you, creating a cycle of love and care that enriches all of life. So, let this be your practice today. Begin with compassion. Treat yourself with kindness, gentleness, and love. You deserve it. And as you continue to practice, you will find that it's not only your body that flourishes, but your heart and soul as well. Aging becomes a beautiful part of life's journey when we approach it with the kindness and patience it deserves. Remember, just as a gardener cares for a plant, you too deserve to be nurtured. Treat yourself with love, and watch your spirit grow in peace and contentment. As we grow older, our bodies change. They slow down, and sometimes, they ache. But even though the physical body may not be as strong as it once was, it remains a temple for the soul. It is the vessel that carries us through this world, and it deserves our respect and care. In the teachings of Buddhism, there is a deep understanding that our bodies are not permanent, but they are sacred. To care for our body is to care for our mind and spirit. In the busy years of life, many of us focus so much on external achievements, work, family, and all the responsibilities we take on. But as time passes, we realize that what matters most is how we care for ourselves on the inside and the outside. It's easy to forget that our body needs our attention and love, just like our mind and heart do. Physical well-being in old age is not about striving for perfection or trying to look young again. It's about nurturing the body in a way that respects its limitations and celebrates its wisdom. The body has carried us through so much, and now is the time to be gentle with it. This means listening to it, understanding its needs, and giving it the care it requires. There are many ways to nourish the body, but the most important is through mindfulness. When we eat, we must eat with full attention, savoring each bite, feeling the nourishment it provides. In Buddhism, this is called mindful eating. It's not just about what we eat, but how we eat. The food we consume is not only fuel for the body, but also for the mind. If we eat in a rush, distracted, we miss the full experience of the food. If we eat with gratitude, we honor the nourishment it provides. Exercise is another vital part of physical well-being. But again, it doesn't need to be intense or strenuous. As we age, simple movements can be just as powerful as intense workouts. Yoga, stretching, walking, all of these practices can help keep the body flexible and strong. And the best part? They also help calm the mind. In Buddhism, we talk a lot about finding balance. Balance in life, balance in actions, and balance in the body. Exercise, when done mindfully, can be a form of meditation. The simple act of walking, paying attention to each step, breathing deeply, feeling the ground beneath you, can bring a deep sense of peace. Rest is equally important. In Buddhism, we understand that rest is not a luxury, but a necessity. The body needs time to recover, to repair, and to regenerate. Without enough rest, we become exhausted and irritable, and our health suffers. It is through rest that we can reset both physically and mentally. It's important to honor the body's need for sleep and relaxation, especially as we age. Rest is a time for the body to heal itself, for the mind to quiet, and for us to connect with a deeper sense of peace. But beyond the physical practices of eating, moving, and resting, there is also the need to let go of attachment to the body itself. In Buddhism, we are reminded that everything is impermanent. Our bodies, like everything else, are not permanent. The more we cling to the idea of youth or physical perfection, the more we set ourselves up for suffering. When we accept the natural changes that come with aging, we can free ourselves from the fear and anxiety of what might happen next. We can let go of the illusion of control over our bodies and instead focus on loving and caring for them just as they are. This acceptance allows us to cultivate a sense of gratitude for the body we have. It has carried us through so much, and it will continue to carry us if we care for it properly. By practicing mindfulness in all aspects of our physical well-being, we can learn to honor the body as a sacred vessel. We can be gentle with it, understanding its limitations while appreciating its incredible strength. In Buddhism, there is a deep reverence for the body as a temple for the soul. It is not just a physical form, it is the means by which we experience life. It connects us to the world around us and allows us to engage with others, to express love, joy, and compassion. As we age, the body may slow down, but it is still a precious gift. We must treat it with the care and respect it deserves. And as we move through life, we must remember that caring for the body is not just about avoiding illness or staying fit. It is about fostering a deep sense of connection to our own being. It is about understanding that the body is not separate from the mind and soul. The well-being of one affects the other. When we care for our body, we also care for our mind and spirit. This is why physical well-being is such an important part of self-care in old age. So, as you move through your days, remember to be kind to your body. Move with mindfulness, eat with gratitude, rest with intention. Honor the temple that carries you through this life, for it is through this vessel that you experience the beauty of the world and the joy of being alive. And in this, you will find peace, not just in your body, but in your heart and mind as well. True physical well-being is not a destination, it is a journey. And as we age, we can learn to walk this journey with grace, gratitude, and compassion for ourselves. The body may change, but it remains a precious part of our being. By caring for it, we are caring for our soul. Emotional resilience. Finding joy in simplicity. When we speak of emotional resilience, we are not referring to a strength that is built overnight or through force. Rather, emotional resilience is a quiet, gentle strength that arises from understanding life's natural flow. As we grow older, we experience more than our fair share of changes, loss, disappointment, and the inevitable process of time that takes from us what we once held close. But it is through these very challenges that emotional resilience can flourish. As a Zen master, I often reflect on how we, as human beings, tend to hold on to our emotions, believing they define us. We may experience joy, but we also carry sorrow, fear, and regret, each feeling intertwined with the other. What we often forget is that these emotions, though they may be powerful, are temporary. They come and go like the seasons, and if we allow them, they will teach us the art of letting go. In the journey of aging, we learn that there is beauty in simplicity. There is a lesson in the quiet moments, the ones that appear after the noise of the world has faded away. The simplicity of sitting in the sun, watching the clouds drift by, can bring an inner peace that many of us, in our younger years, overlooked. But now, in old age, this simplicity becomes our refuge. It is in these moments that we begin to understand that joy does not always come from external sources, it comes from within. When we are emotionally resilient, we are not unaffected by life's ups and downs. Instead, we develop a deep capacity to endure them, to feel them fully, and to let them pass. This doesn't mean we ignore our emotions or bury them. It simply means we no longer allow them to control us. We learn to sit with our feelings, acknowledge them, and let them flow without becoming overwhelmed by them. Just as the waves of the ocean rise and fall, our emotions do the same. As we age, we often reflect on the past, on decisions we've made, moments we've lost, or relationships that have faded. It's easy to fall into a trap of regret, thinking we could have done things differently, wishing for a past we can never get back. But emotional resilience teaches us to embrace the present, to accept what is, rather than dwell on what could have been. It teaches us to find peace in the now. One of the greatest gifts of aging is that we gain perspective. The things that once seemed urgent or distressing now appear small in the grand scheme of life. We learn to prioritize what truly matters, our health, our relationships, and our inner peace. And through this, we discover that joy is often found not in grand accomplishments, but in simple, everyday moments. Have you ever noticed how children can find joy in the simplest things? A stick becomes a sword, a puddle becomes an adventure. As we grow older, we tend to lose that sense of wonder. But the key to emotional resilience in old age lies in rediscovering this simple joy, the joy of being fully present, of appreciating what we have in front of us. Whether it's a quiet evening at home, a conversation with a loved one, or a peaceful walk in nature, these are the moments where true happiness resides. It's easy to think that happiness comes from external achievements, wealth, success, recognition. But as we grow older, we realize that these things, though they may bring temporary pleasure, do not bring lasting peace. True happiness is found when we let go of the need for more and simply appreciate what is already here. It's in the quiet acceptance of life as it is, without the constant striving for something different. Emotional resilience is not about suppressing negative emotions or pretending to be happy all the time. It's about being honest with ourselves and others about how we feel. It's about allowing ourselves to grieve when necessary, to experience sadness, and to let go of old wounds. But it is also about recognizing that these emotions do not define us. We are not our sadness, our anger, or our fear. We are the space that allows these emotions to come and go, like clouds in the sky. In the practice of Zen, we learn to embrace what is, without judgment. When we sit in meditation, we are taught to observe our thoughts and emotions without attaching to them. We let them rise and fall like waves in the ocean, knowing that they are part of the natural rhythm of life. This same practice can be applied to our emotional lives. By observing our feelings without judgment, we free ourselves from the grip of negativity and find the space to simply be. As we age, it is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we are too old to change, that our emotional patterns are fixed. But the truth is, we are never too old to learn new ways of being. Emotional resilience is a skill that can be cultivated at any age. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to face our emotions honestly. But with time, we begin to see that we have the ability to transform our relationship with ourselves and the world around us. The Zen approach to life teaches us to be present with whatever arises. We don't need to chase happiness or avoid pain. We simply need to be with whatever comes, with full acceptance. This approach doesn't just bring emotional resilience, it brings peace. And as we grow older, this peace becomes more and more important. In the face of life's inevitable challenges, peace is the greatest gift we can give ourselves. One of the most profound lessons of emotional resilience is learning to forgive. As we age, we may carry old grudges or unresolved conflicts that weigh heavily on our hearts. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning what was done wrong, but it means releasing ourselves from the burden of anger and resentment. When we forgive, we free ourselves to experience the joy that comes from living in the present, without the chains of the past holding us back. Life in old age doesn't have to be a period of loss and sorrow. It can be a time of great emotional growth, a time when we learn to find peace, joy, and contentment in the simplest of things. Emotional resilience teaches us that we are not defined by our struggles or our setbacks. We are defined by our ability to rise, to learn, and to continue on the path with grace and acceptance. In this way, old age becomes a time of deepening wisdom, where we can live with a heart that is open to whatever comes. We learn to smile at life's challenges, knowing that they are temporary and that, in time, they will pass. And in this acceptance, we find the true joy that comes from within, the joy that is not dependent on external circumstances, but on our ability to be fully present in the moment, with whatever arises. Emotional resilience is the key to finding peace as we grow older. It's the ability to find joy in simplicity, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to embrace the present with open arms. This is the path to a fulfilling and meaningful life, one that continues to blossom, no matter how many years pass. The wisdom of solitude, learning to enjoy your own company. In this busy world, we often forget the importance of solitude. We fill our days with noise, distractions, and endless tasks, all in an attempt to avoid being alone with our own thoughts. Yet, in old age, solitude becomes a gift, a chance to reflect, to understand, and to reconnect with the deeper parts of ourselves. But why is this so important? And how can we learn to embrace solitude in a way that nurtures our well-being? Imagine sitting in a quiet room, the only sound the soft whisper of your breath. It's just you, no distractions, no obligations, no voices demanding your attention. At first, this might feel uncomfortable, even unsettling. You might feel the urge to fill the space with something, anything, just to escape the stillness. But if you sit with it long enough, you begin to realize something profound. This is where peace lives. Solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is a feeling of disconnection, of yearning for something outside yourself to fill a void. Solitude, on the other hand, is the embrace of your own presence. It is the space in which you can hear your own thoughts clearly, without the noise of the outside world drowning them out. It is the moment where you can reconnect with who you truly are, beyond the roles you've played or the labels you've carried throughout your life. In Buddhism, the practice of solitude is seen as a path to enlightenment. It is through stillness and introspection that we come to understand the nature of our minds. When we are constantly surrounded by others, we are often pulled in many directions, our attention scattered. But when we are alone, we can turn inward, exploring the depths of our own consciousness. This is not a form of isolation, but a way to find the true connection to ourselves. In your old age, this becomes even more important. You may find that the busyness of life has slowed down. Your children may have grown up, moved away, and started families of their own. Your friends might be scattered or busy with their own lives. You may find yourself alone more often than you'd like. But rather than seeing this as a loss, consider it an opportunity. An opportunity to cultivate inner peace, to reconnect with your spirit, and to reflect on the life you've lived and the lessons you've learned. For many, old age brings a sense of nostalgia, a longing for the past. We may yearn for the days when we were surrounded by loved ones, when we were needed, when life felt full of purpose. But in solitude, we can find a deeper purpose, one that is not dependent on external circumstances or the approval of others. It is the purpose that comes from within, from knowing that we are enough, just as we are. Learning to enjoy your own company is a practice, just like any other. It requires patience and acceptance. At first, it might feel awkward or uncomfortable. You might feel a sense of emptiness, as if something is missing. But that emptiness is not a void, it is space. It is the space for you to fill with your own wisdom, your own reflection, your own peace. Over time, you will come to appreciate it. You will see it as a source of strength rather than a source of sadness. You see, in solitude, there is no one to impress, no one to judge you. It is just you and your thoughts. And this is where true freedom lies. In solitude, you are free to be yourself without the pressure of society's expectations. You are free to explore your feelings, your memories, and your desires. You can reconnect with your past in a way that allows you to let go of any unresolved pain, to forgive yourself, and to accept who you are now. There is no need for pretense or performance. There is only honesty, vulnerability, and acceptance. In Buddhism, we are taught to observe our thoughts without attachment. When we are alone, we can practice this observation. We can sit with our thoughts, not judging them or trying to change them, but simply watching them come and go. This is a powerful practice, as it allows us to see our minds clearly. We begin to understand that our thoughts are not who we are. They are just passing phenomena, like clouds in the sky. We are the sky, vast, open, and unchanging. This is the beauty of solitude. It helps us realize that we are not defined by our thoughts, by our past, or by our circumstances. We are simply beings of consciousness, capable of peace, love, and joy in every moment. We do not need external validation to feel complete. Solitude teaches us that the peace we seek is already within us. As you age, the opportunity for solitude becomes more frequent, and with it, the opportunity for self-discovery. The more time you spend in your own company, the more you begin to understand yourself. You start to see the patterns of your thoughts, your behaviors, and your desires. You can observe them without judgment, and over time, you will find that many of these patterns no longer hold power over you. You will begin to live more freely, more authentically, and more peacefully. There is no need to fear being alone. It is not a sign of failure or loneliness. It is a sign of strength. It is a sign that you are comfortable enough with yourself to embrace the stillness. You are no longer seeking validation from others, but instead, you are seeking validation from within. And that is the most powerful form of self-care you can give yourself. When we learn to embrace solitude, we also learn to embrace the present moment. In our busy, fast-paced world, it's easy to become lost in the past or the future. We think about the things we've done, the mistakes we've made, or the things we wish we could have done differently. Or we worry about what lies ahead, what will happen in the future, and whether we will be able to face it. But when we are alone, we are forced to face the present. There is no escaping it. And in this present moment, we find peace. We find freedom. Solitude is also a space for gratitude. When you are alone, you can reflect on all the blessings in your life, big and small. You can appreciate the simple things, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of birds singing outside, the feeling of your breath as it flows in and out. These are the moments that often go unnoticed in the hustle and bustle of daily life. But in solitude, you can savor them. You can find joy in the present moment, without the need for anything more. Finally, remember that you are never truly alone. In the stillness of solitude, you are connected to everything, the earth, the sky, the people you love, and even those who have passed. In Buddhism, we believe in the interconnectedness of all things. No one is ever truly isolated because we are all part of a greater whole. Solitude, then, becomes a way of deepening your connection to this greater whole. It becomes a way of tapping into the wisdom and peace that lies within you, and within all beings. As you age, embrace solitude as a sacred space for reflection and growth. It is not something to fear, but something to cherish. In solitude, you can find clarity, peace, and a deeper understanding of yourself. And in this understanding, you will discover a profound joy that is not dependent on the outside world, but on the peace that already exists within you. Building meaningful connections, the role of community. As we grow older, we may begin to feel a sense of isolation. It's not that we don't love our family or friends, but sometimes the world changes so quickly around us that we feel left behind, out of sync with the fast-moving pace of society. It's easy to feel as though we are drifting, as though we are no longer part of the conversation. But the truth is, even in our later years, we have the ability to create and nurture meaningful relationships that give our lives purpose and depth. Building connections is not only vital to our happiness, it is essential for our well-being. Think about it. In your younger years, you might have been busy with work, raising children, managing daily responsibilities. But now, as time slows down, there's an opportunity to refocus on relationships. The people you meet now are just as significant as the ones you met in your younger days, and sometimes even more so. Why? Because, as we age, we begin to understand the depth and richness that real connections bring. We begin to seek out people who align with our values, who truly listen, who respect our experiences, and who offer love and companionship in return. At the core of this lies a simple truth. Human beings are social creatures. We thrive in communities. And no matter how old we get, we still need those deep, genuine connections to feel whole. Buddhism teaches us the importance of interdependence, that we are all connected, and that our happiness is tied to the happiness of others. When we reach out, when we invest in others, we are not only helping them, but we are helping ourselves. We are filling the spaces within us that loneliness tries to occupy. We are nourishing the human need for companionship, for belonging, and for understanding. You may ask, but how do I create these connections? How do I find meaningful relationships when life seems quieter and opportunities seem fewer? The answer lies in presence. In the teachings of Buddhism, mindfulness is key. By being present in each moment, you open yourself to the people around you in a way that invites authentic connection. Instead of focusing on the past or worrying about the future, you simply allow yourself to be with those who are right in front of you. You listen more deeply, speak more kindly, and offer more compassion. Community isn't always about being surrounded by a large group of people. It's about quality over quantity. You might find that a single friend or a small group of like-minded individuals can offer more joy than a crowd ever could. These are the people who accept you as you are, who appreciate your wisdom and experiences, and who make you feel seen and valued. Whether it's a neighbor who brings over a warm meal, a friend who calls just to check in, or a group of people who share in your hobbies or spiritual practice, these connections are the lifeblood of our emotional well-being. And don't be afraid to reach out. Many people feel the same sense of loneliness or isolation, but they too may be waiting for someone to extend a hand. It's not just about receiving love and support, but about giving it. Buddhism encourages us to practice metta, or loving kindness, toward others. This means offering goodwill, warmth, and compassion to all beings, including those who may not be close to us. Even small acts of kindness, a smile, a gentle word, a helping hand, can create bonds that last. In old age, we have the opportunity to reflect on what truly matters in our relationships. It's not about the number of friends we have, but about the depth of our connection with those around us. It's about understanding that our lives are enriched not just by what we have, but by who we share it with. Sometimes, we spend so much time in our own thoughts, focusing on what we lack, that we forget to notice the people who are already around us, ready to share in our joys and sorrows. Another aspect of building meaningful connections is the ability to forgive. Over time, we all experience misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and disagreements. But holding on to grudges or past wounds only creates more separation. Forgiveness is not just a gift for others, it is a gift to ourselves. It frees us from the weight of resentment and allows space for healing and new connections to form. It is a powerful tool in creating harmony and peace within ourselves and our relationships. Buddhism teaches that the path to happiness is not a solitary one. It's a path that involves others, a path that thrives on compassion, empathy, and shared experience. As we grow older, we begin to recognize that the essence of life lies not in accumulating possessions or accolades, but in the relationships we build and the love we give and receive. Our community becomes our family, our support system, and our teachers. The more we open our hearts to others, the more connected we feel to the world around us. And in this connection, we find a deep sense of peace. When we are surrounded by people who genuinely care for us, who accept us, flaws and all, we are reminded that we are not alone. That, in itself, is a form of freedom. In old age, we may no longer be able to do everything we once did, but we can still build and nurture the most important part of our lives, relationships that matter. As we age, we often become more selective in the people we spend our time with. We begin to recognize that not every person is meant to be part of our journey. It's okay to let go of relationships that no longer serve us or bring us peace. This is an important part of self-care. It's about surrounding ourselves with those who truly uplift us, who support us in our growth, and who share in our vision of living a peaceful, meaningful life. In the end, building meaningful connections in our later years isn't about adding more names to a contact list. It's about creating genuine bonds with those who resonate with our soul. Whether it's through shared interests, spiritual practices, or simple moments of kindness, these relationships will nourish us in ways we never imagined. They remind us that we are never truly alone, and that our lives are rich with love, connection, and shared experience. So, as you reflect on your life and your relationships, remember that it's never too late to build the community you need. There is always room for more love, more understanding, and more connection. The more you open your heart, the more you will find the people who will walk alongside you, sharing in your journey. Gratitude and contentment, the path to a fulfilling life. In the quiet moments of life, when the busyness of the world fades away, one can truly understand the depth of gratitude. Imagine, for a moment, looking back at the years you have lived. Each day, filled with both joys and challenges, has shaped who you are today. And in those reflections, how often do you pause and give thanks for the small things? How often do you find contentment in what you have, rather than longing for what you don't? As we age, the tendency to reflect on missed opportunities or dreams left unfulfilled can become strong. It's easy to focus on what we don't have, or what we wish could have been different. But in this search for what's missing, we often overlook the richness of the present moment. Buddhism teaches us to live fully in the present, appreciating everything as it is. This is the true essence of gratitude, being able to see the beauty in the simplicity of life, in the ordinary moments that, when gathered together, form a life well lived. Gratitude isn't just about being thankful for the big events or milestones. It's about recognizing the small, everyday blessings that often go unnoticed. A warm cup of tea in the morning, the sound of birds outside your window, a smile from a friend, or the comfort of your own home. These simple things are what make life worth living. And yet, they are often the very things we take for granted. In Buddhism, contentment is closely linked with gratitude. It is the practice of being satisfied with what is, of accepting life exactly as it unfolds. This doesn't mean we stop striving or growing, but rather, it means we let go of constant dissatisfaction. It means we stop comparing ourselves to others, measuring our worth by what we don't have, and instead begin to see the abundance in what we already possess. Imagine waking up every day and feeling content with what you have. Instead of focusing on the things you wish you had more of, you begin to appreciate the treasures you already hold. This contentment isn't about settling for less or giving up on your desires. It's about recognizing that what you have now is enough. As we age, it becomes more important to practice gratitude and contentment. The world around us may change, our bodies may grow frail, but the practice of finding joy in what is still here, in the simple moments, is the key to true happiness. It's about understanding that everything we need to be happy is already within us, waiting to be noticed. Buddhism teaches us that by focusing on the present moment, we free ourselves from the burden of regret over the past or anxiety about the future. These two mental states, regret and worry, often rob us of our peace. They take us away from the here and now, from the beauty that exists in every moment. Contentment, on the other hand, brings us back to this moment, where all is well. When we stop chasing after what we don't have, we realize that the present is all we need. We begin to see that the life we have is already enough. This understanding is a source of immense peace and freedom. It's the wisdom that comes with age and experience. We no longer need to prove ourselves, no longer need to accumulate more. We can simply be, and in that being, we find joy. Contentment doesn't mean that we stop wanting to grow or improve. It doesn't mean that we give up our dreams or stop setting goals. But it does mean that we stop tying our happiness to these external outcomes. We begin to appreciate the journey, the process, and the small victories along the way. Gratitude and contentment are practices that transform our view of the world. When we approach life with gratitude, we begin to see abundance in every direction. Even the simplest of things becomes a source of joy. The smile of a loved one, the feel of the wind on our skin, the taste of our favorite food, these become reminders of the goodness that already exists in our lives. As you reflect on your own life, take a moment to think about what you are truly grateful for. What are the things, big or small, that bring you peace and joy? Often, the most meaningful blessings are the ones we don't recognize immediately. They are the quiet moments, the moments that seem ordinary but are, in reality, extraordinary. As you age, remember that there is a richness in every phase of life. You don't need to have everything figured out or accomplished. You don't need to chase after the next big thing. What matters is that you find peace in the present, find contentment in what you have, and give thanks for all the small moments that make life worth living. In the end, gratitude and contentment are the true keys to a fulfilling life. They are the foundation upon which all happiness rests. When you practice them, you find that life becomes easier to navigate, more peaceful, and filled with a deep sense of satisfaction. So, let go of what you think you need, and start appreciating what is already before you. Recognize the beauty in the ordinary, the miracles in the mundane. In doing so, you'll find that you have everything you need to live a life filled with joy and peace. As we move forward in life, remember that happiness isn't something to be found in the future or the past. It is something to be found right here, right now, in the present. And the more you practice gratitude and contentment, the more you will begin to notice how rich your life truly is. Live with gratitude. Live with contentment. And in doing so, you will discover that you have all that you need to lead a fulfilling and peaceful life. Spiritual growth. Deepening your inner journey. As we move through life, we often become so caught up in the busyness of our daily routines that we forget about the most important journey we can take, the journey inward. This inward journey is not about running away from the world, but about connecting more deeply with the essence of who we are. It is the path of spiritual growth, a path that becomes even more important as we grow older. In Buddhism, there is a profound teaching that everything is temporary. Our bodies age, our relationships change, and our circumstances shift. But one thing that remains constant is the deeper part of us, the part that is connected to something greater than ourselves. This part of us can be nurtured and deepened through spiritual practice, and it is through this practice that we find peace and fulfillment in old age. Spiritual growth is not about trying to become someone else or trying to achieve a state of perfection. It's about learning to be at peace with who we are. It's about accepting ourselves, our flaws, our mistakes, and our limitations. It's about realizing that we don't need to change the world around us in order to find happiness. True happiness comes from within, and it is nurtured by our ability to live with awareness and compassion. As we age, we often face challenges that force us to confront our own mortality. These challenges can bring fear, regret, and sadness. But they can also bring wisdom and a deeper understanding of life. The more we open ourselves to these challenges with a sense of mindfulness and compassion, the more we learn about the impermanence of all things. And in this realization, we find a sense of peace. Spiritual growth in old age is about recognizing the beauty of the present moment. It's about living fully in the here and now, rather than worrying about the past or the future. Many of us spend so much time looking back, regretting what we could have done differently, or looking ahead, fearing what is to come. But when we focus on the present, we see the richness and depth of life in every moment. We realize that there is no need to rush or strive. Life unfolds exactly as it should, and all we need to do is be present for it. One of the most important practices in Buddhism is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment, without judgment. It's about observing our thoughts, feelings, and experiences as they come and go, without getting attached to them. This practice can be incredibly powerful, especially as we age. It helps us become more aware of the patterns in our thinking and behavior, and it allows us to respond to life with greater clarity and compassion. As we deepen our spiritual practice, we also develop a sense of gratitude. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you for the good things in life. It's about recognizing the preciousness of every moment, even the difficult ones. Every experience, every challenge is an opportunity for growth. When we cultivate gratitude, we begin to see life through a different lens. We appreciate the simple things, the warmth of the sun, the sound of birds singing, the feel of a loved one's touch. Another important aspect of spiritual growth is learning to let go. In Buddhism, letting go is not about abandoning or neglecting our responsibilities. It's about releasing our attachment to things, to people, to outcomes. It's about understanding that nothing is permanent, and that holding on too tightly to anything can cause suffering. When we let go, we create space in our hearts for peace and acceptance. We become less concerned with what we don't have and more grateful for what we do have. In old age, this process of letting go becomes even more essential. As our bodies change, we may lose some of the things that we once took for granted, our physical strength, our independence, or our mental sharpness. But in these losses, we can also find great wisdom. We realize that we don't need to hold on to everything in order to be whole. We are already complete, just as we are. We are not defined by our possessions or our abilities. We are defined by our capacity for love, compassion, and peace. Spiritual growth also involves cultivating a sense of purpose. As we age, we may question our place in the world. We may wonder if we still have something valuable to offer. But the truth is that we all have a purpose, no matter our age. Our purpose may not be as obvious or as outwardly impressive as it once was, but it is no less important. Perhaps our purpose is to share our wisdom with others, to offer kindness and support to those around us, or simply to be a source of peace in the world. Whatever it is enough. In Buddhism, we are taught to practice loving kindness, not just toward others, but toward ourselves as well. Loving kindness is the practice of offering love and compassion without expecting anything in return. It is about recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every person, including ourselves. As we grow older, it becomes even more important to practice loving kindness toward ourselves. We may face physical limitations, mental challenges, or emotional struggles, but we are worthy of love and compassion in every stage of life. The more we cultivate spiritual growth, the more we begin to see the interconnectedness of all things. We realize that we are not separate from the world around us. Our lives are intertwined with the lives of others, and the love and kindness we offer to others ripples out into the world. As we deepen our spiritual practice, we become more attuned to the needs of others, more compassionate, more understanding. Through this journey of spiritual growth, we come to realize that aging is not a burden, but a blessing. It is a time to cultivate deeper wisdom, a time to embrace our true selves, and a time to offer the world our love and compassion. We may not have control over the changes that come with age, but we do have control over how we respond to them. And through spiritual growth, we can respond with grace, peace, and a deep sense of contentment. As we reflect on our lives, we begin to see that the true purpose of aging is not to accumulate wealth or achieve success, but to cultivate wisdom, love, and peace. The older we get, the more we realize that these are the things that truly matter. And in this realization, we find the true meaning of life. As we come to the end of this journey, it's important to reflect on the path we've traveled together. We've learned that aging is not a burden, but a gift that carries within it the possibility for profound growth, peace, and understanding. Aging, like everything else in life, is impermanent. It is an inevitable change, and yet it offers us a chance to embrace something new, a deeper connection to ourselves and the world around us. Throughout this journey, we have learned that taking care of yourself in old age is not just about keeping your body healthy, it's about nurturing your mind, your heart, and your spirit. It's about acknowledging the impermanence of life and learning to let go of what no longer serves us. It's about being present, finding joy in simple things, and discovering inner peace. The wisdom of Buddhism teaches us to cultivate mindfulness in every moment, to be aware of our thoughts, feelings, and actions, and to act with compassion toward ourselves and others. It teaches us that the true essence of life is not found in material possessions or achievements, but in the depth of our relationships, the kindness we share, and the peace we cultivate within ourselves. When we take care of ourselves, we are not only nourishing our own well-being, but we are also contributing to the well-being of those around us. As we grow older, we have a unique opportunity to share our wisdom, to be a beacon of light for those who may feel lost in their own journey. The kindness we show ourselves can ripple out and touch the lives of others in ways we may never fully understand. We have also learned the importance of letting go. Letting go of regrets about the past, of anxieties about the future, of attachments to things or people that no longer serve us. In doing so, we create space for peace and freedom. Freedom from worry, freedom from fear, and freedom to live fully in the present moment. In our later years, we are often confronted with the idea of solitude. It may feel like a challenge, but Buddhism encourages us to view it differently. Solitude is not loneliness. It is a time for reflection, for introspection, for deep connection with ourselves. It is in these quiet moments that we can truly hear the whispers of our soul, guiding us toward a more peaceful existence. The practice of gratitude is also a powerful tool in our journey. As we age, we may find ourselves focusing more on what we have lost. But by shifting our focus to what we still have, our health, our family, our community, our wisdom, we cultivate a sense of gratitude that fills our hearts with joy. Gratitude allows us to see the beauty in every day, even in the most ordinary moments. As we grow older, it is natural to reflect on our lives and wonder if we have lived well. But remember, living well is not about perfection. It's about embracing the journey, with all its ups and downs, with grace and acceptance. It's about finding peace in the present moment, regardless of what the past may hold or what the future may bring. It's about living with intention, with kindness, and with an open heart. This journey we have taken together has shown us that aging is not the end. It is simply another chapter in the story of our lives. And in this chapter, we have the opportunity to write our own narrative, to live with purpose, to live with peace, and to live with joy. No matter how old we are, we always have the power to change, to grow, and to create a life that is meaningful. By applying the wisdom of Buddhism, we can learn to embrace our aging process with open arms. We can transform it from something we fear into something we cherish. So, as you continue on your journey, remember this: taking care of yourself in old age is a practice. It is a lifelong process that requires patience, mindfulness, and compassion. But the rewards are immeasurable. A life well lived is not about the number of years you have, but about the quality of those years. It is about the peace you find within yourself, the love you give to others, and the wisdom you share. In the end, we all want the same thing: to live a life filled with meaning, purpose, and happiness. And by following the teachings of Buddhism, we can achieve that. It's never too late to start caring for yourself, to begin this journey toward inner peace and fulfillment. As we close this chapter together, I invite you to reflect on everything we've discussed. Think about the ways you can incorporate these teachings into your daily life. Ask yourself, how can I bring more mindfulness into my life? How can I let go of attachments that no longer serve me? How can I care for myself with the same compassion I show to others? The answers to these questions are within you. They are not something you need to search for outside of yourself. They're already there, waiting to be discovered. Thank you for being part of this journey with us. As you move forward, remember that your journey is your own. It is unique and precious. Treat it with love, care, and respect. And above all, remember that no matter your age, you are always capable of growth, always capable of transformation. Before we end, I want to thank you for your time, your attention, and your open heart. It has been a privilege to walk alongside you, even if only for a moment, on this path towards self-care and peace. May your journey be filled with wisdom, compassion, and an unwavering sense of inner peace. Remember, life is a precious gift. Care for it, nurture it, and above all, live it fully.